Hello and welcome to another Fully Charged. In this episode we're looking at electric pickups. It'll be a roundup of all those vehicles that are coming out very soon, that are coming out in the next year or two, and finally some of the concept vehicles which may or may not actually ever make it off the drawing boards and into the real world. We'll take a look at performance, of course, how they look, importantly too, and finally how much they're predicted to cost you and I if and when they make it to market. So join me for that. Oh, and don't worry, it's electric. Better. So, pickup trucks. Now, there's always been a big demand for pickup trucks, especially in North America. You know, the big three that have dominated that market, GMC, Chevy, Ford. I mean, Ford alone in 2019 sold over, well, around about 800,000 trucks. Now you combine that with the number sold by all the other manufacturers, you're going to be selling past 1 million new trucks sold in 1 year. But there's also been an increased demand for electric pickup trucks, and I think we can sensibly say that's been driven by the kind of display at shows and the footage, the video footage of real life in action trucks like the Tesla Cybertruck and the Rivian R1T. Those are really the two that are definitely going to be coming to market, and people have some concerns that, you know, will they ever actually make it to a market that people like you and I can buy? But Rivian have got some serious backers and financial support behind them now, with the likes of Amazon and I think Ford showing an interest. And you know, in Tesla, well, love them or hate them, they kind of do what they say, and they've got a track record, and you know, people question their ability to mass produce the Model 3, the numbers that would be required, and they're managing to do it. So there's no reason why they can't shift that across to the Cybertruck. As well as that, I think there's an imminent announcement coming from Tesla about the establishment of its new Terafactory. I don't know what a Terafactory is. I imagine it's just a big factory with a nice shiny Tesla label on it. But that's probably going to be in Texas and probably going to be just outside Austin. I think we're a few days away from that being official. And that's going to be where the new Cybertruck is being produced. And we think it's great news, but a bold statement. They've gone to the place where, as I said, there are more trucks, pickup trucks, per head of population than anywhere else. And that's where they're going to start producing the Cybertruck. Which I like. If you're going to make a statement, make a bold one. Now, I will admit, when I first saw the aesthetic of the Cybertruck, I wasn't sure, and I don't think I was alone in that. Some people loved it, some people hated it, but I think most people were a bit like undecided. But to be fair, it has grown on me. That's the more I look at it, the more I like it. It's kind of Batman meets Mad Max. You know, it's not just. It doesn't just look like an old-fashioned combustion engine pickup truck. But what you cannot complain about is the price. So the cheapest version, the basic model of the Cybertruck, comes in, or predicted to come in, around about $40,000, which is astonishingly cheap for a pickup truck, especially an electric vehicle, let alone an electric pickup truck. We'd normally convert that into euros and British pounds, but I'm not going to bother because we're in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, and exchange rates are skyrocketing and plummeting on a minute-by-minute basis. So anything I say right now will be completely wrong by lunchtime. However, even the top-end model is only $50,000, which still is actually I mean, I know it's $50,000, it's a lot of money, but it's still pretty cheap for an electric pickup. And with that top of the range model, you are getting over 500-mile range. I mean, that's much more than I've ever had out of any combustion engine vehicle. You're getting 14,000 pounds of towing capacity, and it's got a 0 to 60 of about 3 seconds. So I mean, that's a pretty good. In fact, when, not if, judging by recent events, the zombie apocalypse finally strikes, you know, the Cybertruck has to be in your top 3, I would say, as a bug out vehicle to escape the hordes. The other major player right now in the electric pickup truck market has to be Rivian with the R1T. Now, they've been refining the R1T for a few years now. It was first kind of revealed at the LA Auto Show, and we had it at Fully Charged US in 2020. But and you couldn't get to, you couldn't film it for the crowd. People want to touch it. So it is a real thing, and it is happening. And Rivian themselves, as a company, are already getting admiring glances from the likes of Ford and Jeff Bezos, who's got a couple of quid in his back pocket, I believe. Amazon have confirmed, who are obviously owned by Jeff Bezos, they've confirmed that they're ordering, I think it's 100,000 bespoke delivery trucks for Amazon for the US. And how much of that investment goes purely towards the delivery trucks for Amazon, how much of it is invested into Rivian as a company. But one would hope that some of it goes towards the R1T, because for Rivian the R1T is really their flagship vehicle as far as the general public are concerned. Now, Rivian haven't actually confirmed when the R1T will be out, or the R1S, which is the sort of SUV vehicle they've been working on. But it's likely to be in 2021. When in 2021, we don't know. And again, there's been a lot of dates pushed back at the moment because of the coronavirus pandemic. But nor have they confirmed interest like Tesla have, but Rivian haven't revealed numbers as far as pre-ordering, pre-registering, the demand, what that's likely to look like. But just in the amount of interest that's been generated on the net, on forums, at shows, even at the Fully Charged Live US show in early 2020, the amount of people who were very obviously interested in this vehicle was incredible. So it looks very likely that the R1T is going to be a viable reality. It'll come to market, it'll sell well, and Rivian will be, if not one of the market leaders, a strong player in the new electric pickup truck sector. Of course, Rivian and Tesla aren't the only competitors in this field. You've got people like Atlas bringing out the XT, Bollinger with the B2, the Hercules Alpha, the Lordstown Endurance, the Neuron T1, the Ford F-150 and the GMC Hummer, and they're both similar in that they are modelled on the classic combustion engine best-selling versions of the Hummer and the F-150 that have just been electrified. Or that's certainly how it's looking at the moment. And finally, last but by no means least, Nicolas Barger. The XT from Arizona-based Atlas, it looks fairly similar to what we could call a normal combustion pickup truck. The shape of it, really. The lights, the front lights, are a bit more modern, but they are touting, because of some in-house battery development, a range of over 500 miles. So we'll see how that progresses. We've got the Bollinger producing the B2. Now, from what I've seen on the net with this, because I've not seen one in the flesh, as it were, it looks like they styled it on the old-fashioned Land Rover Defender, that quite boxy, square shape. So it should look cool. I should love it, but I just don't. They've kind of somehow missed the mark, I think. Maybe it needs some bull bars on there, maybe a snorkel, maybe a roof rack to make it a bit more expedition-like. I don't know, but for me it just doesn't really work. The other thing is it's a very long vehicle. The wheelbase is long, which is good, I suppose, in the sense that it gives you a lot of room to store kit and to move things, which is its main purpose. But if you are getting this for its off-road capability, in really rugged terrain, that long wheelbase, the distance between the front and the rear wheel would concern me. But the big concern for me with this model is the price tag. They are currently predicting it'll cost $125,000, which is an expensive vehicle. You can buy, you know, Aston Martins for that. And when you think that the Tesla, you could get 3 low-range Cybertrucks for that, or 2.5 top-of-the-range Cybertrucks for the same price. I think they're going to have to produce something pretty special to make it worth that amount of money. Hercules are a company based in Detroit, that old sort of city of car manufacturing in the US, and they're headed up by an engineer, an ex-General Motors bolts and bolts engineer. And for me, the aesthetics of this is again very similar, like the Atlas XT. It's a fairly modern but not futuristic take on the pickup truck. It's not dissimilar to the sort of lines you would see on an old combustion pickup truck driving around if you bought it recently. They are touting over 300-mile range, which against things like the XT and the Tesla seems low, but actually you consider 300-mile plus range is still fantastic for an electric vehicle, especially something as powerful as a pickup. Then we have companies like Lordstown, which is a spin-off of the Workhorse Group, and they're producing a model called the Endurance. Again, aesthetically, it looks a very modern but conventional pickup truck, although it's a bit more futuristic at the front end. And what they claim is that the Endurance has less moving parts than any other vehicle, and I believe that's not just pickup trucks, that's, you know, cars as well. So we'll see what comes of that. Price tag wise, it's looking maybe just a shade over $52,000, so again on a par with the top of the range Cybertruck. Then we have the Neuron T1, which, as its name suggests, certainly to me, the T1 part, that sort of Terminator part, it's a fairly futuristic looking vehicle, and actually future is the key component here, and I'll come on to that in a second. I mean, looks wise, again, it is the old pickup truck shape, unlike they all are apart from the Cybertruck, but it is probably the most futuristic of the lot, with the exception of the Tesla, in that, to me, it's got hints of the kind of liquid metal of Terminator 2, but it reminds me of a Cylon from Battlestar Galactica. I'm banging on about looks here when you probably want to know more about performance and range and that sort of stuff. Well, the problem is it's all going to happen in the future, if at all. Currently, the T1 is only a concept vehicle, so it only exists kind of in the ether, in theory, you know, in the virtual world. So, and the website itself deals a lot with the internal and external aesthetics and looks to the truck, but doesn't give much detail on predicted performance. So, looks cool, definitely one to watch, but we'll have to see if it ever actually makes it out of the virtual world and into the real one. Now, one of the big players in the combustion engine pickup truck market has to be Ford, if not the biggest player really. And it had the biggest selling model in the US in 2019, which was the Ford F-150, and they're looking to bring out a fully electric version of that in 2021. Somewhat tellingly though, they are planning on bringing out a plug-in hybrid version of the F-150 before that, still in 2021, but earlier in the year than the fully electric one. So we'll see how all that transpires. Another big player is GMC. Now, GMC chose the Super Bowl to advertise the Super Bowl and to align themselves with basketball legend LeBron James to launch their new fully electric Hummer. Now, neither of those two marketing things are cheap, so one would think that shows a level of commitment to this new EV to spend that amount of money on marketing. I've got no idea how much it would cost, but one would consider quite a lot of cash. The electric Hummer is slated for release in 2021, so hopefully we'll see that. And then also there's rumours, nothing's confirmed, but rumours, that GMC are also looking at the Chevy Silverado and the GM Sierra to have fully electric versions produced as well. Maybe 2021, 2022, we don't know yet. Of course, there are those that we've heard nothing from, which I would have expected to by now. People like Ram and Jeep. You know, I thought Jeep would have at least come up with a concept by now, but nothing. So I think those companies, those big names, who, if they're not starting in the electric market, are going to get left behind very quickly. Especially when you've got people like Ford, who are turning what was the world's best-selling pickup truck in 2019 into an electric version. You've got GM dropping horrendous amounts of money on the marketing and the sort of the PR for their new electric Hummer, and then, you know, I would say the front runners right now, which are Tesla and the Cybertruck, and Rivian and the R1T, leading the field, I think, quite a way ahead of everyone else. So it'll be interesting to see which of the concept vehicles from some of the companies developed in 2021, and which companies who we've not had a peep from yet jump into the market, and how far behind they are. And then of course we come to Nicolas Barger. I mean, you could name it anything, right? You could name it anything in the world. It just seems a bit euphemistic, you know. They're going to bring out an amphibious version called Nicolas Beaver. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Look, actually, once you get past the name, they could have called it like Nicolas Wolverine or something. I don't know. Anyway, right. Enough of the name. The name's the name. That's fine. Actually, I don't mind. I mean, I think the name's quite funny, and I genuinely, I would not be embarrassed. In fact, I'd almost buy it just because it's called the Badger. But name aside, it looks like a really good vehicle. So again, aesthetically, it's modern. It's not futuristic. Not so much as the T1, the Neuron T1, or the Cybertruck. But it's a nice looking vehicle. I do like it. It reminds me of the sort of thing I would associate with, like, you know, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It would fit in with that sort of backdrop. And of course, there's not a real vehicle to verify any of this information to hand, but what they claim it will be able to do, if it ever makes it off the drawing boards and into the real world, it'll have a range of over 600 miles. It'll do 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds, so that outperforms the Cybertruck in those two categories. So, you know, I say, if it makes it into the real world, Nicolas Barger could be a real winner. Whenever these vehicles actually make it to market, those that do, the Fully Charged team will be here to compare, review and give you the facts. From my point of view, I am pitching some mad adventures to the powers that be at Fully Charged, and so far no one said no yet, so that's all good. And I'm all about taking these vehicles away somewhere and testing them and seeing what they're really capable of in real world extreme conditions, rather than just the facts and figures we get on data sheets. And whether that's tank tunneling a Rivian across the Sahara, taking a T1 up the side of a mountain, or the Cybertruck on a Mad Max road trip to the North Pole, we'll have to wait and see what vehicles we get hold of, and what I get clearance to do. Again, looking to the future, the Fully Charged show live in the US next year in Austin, Texas in 2021. We'll be working hard to make sure as many of these pickup trucks that we've discussed today are available. Those that actually exist in the real world at that time are there at the show for you to see and you to look at for yourselves. Apart from that, below are links to the Patreon site and the YouTube membership page. Please, I'd be grateful if you'd have a look. And for those that already support us through those two means, thank you very, very much. And apart from that, I'll simply say, if you have been, thanks for watching.